Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Marc Márquez sealed the 2025 MotoGP World Championship at Motegi, clinching the title on his first attempt with Ducati. The victory, a second-place finish that was enough to crown him, came with visible emotion and reflection. Behind the podium smiles, Márquez spoke about the personal journey that led him back to the top, a difficult recovery, tough choices, and the people who helped him decide his path. He also said matching Valentino Rossi's Premier Class tally is an honor, a line that underlines how the title feels both personal and historical. Davide Tardozzi, Ducati Lenovo team manager, savored an emotional Motegi weekend after Marc Márquez clinched the 2025 MotoGP title and Francesco Bagnaia returned to the top step. Speaking to GPOne, Tardozzi described a day that read like a film script, a title, a long-awaited Pecco victory, a minor technical scare, and a clear message that judgment on Márquez's legacy should wait until the race is done. Ducati general manager Gigi D'Allegna reflected on Marc Márquez's dominant 2025 season after the Spaniard sealed the MotoGP title at Motegi. Once a thorn in Ducati's side, Márquez has become the factory's greatest asset this year, and D'Allegna says the champion's clarity, calm and feedback explain why Ducati finally hoisted the crown. Pecco Bagnaia returned to the top step in Japan with a commanding lights-to-flag win that felt more like redemption than just another victory. After a brutal season of struggles, the Ducati rider said Misano's test unlocked the setup that finally let him ride his bike instead of fighting it, and Motegi delivered the proof. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Márquez framed the championship as the end of a long internal struggle, a battle between different versions of himself after injury and doubt. He described feelings of near retirement and the work required to rebuild physically and mentally. He admitted he'd been very close to quitting, but chose to keep fighting to prove he could still be competitive. That vulnerability makes the triumph less about statistics and more about resilience. Márquez repeatedly credited the support network around him, family, friends, physios, doctors, and even rival teams, for giving him the freedom to make bold career moves. Their backing, he said, removed a heavy weight from his shoulders and let him pursue the Ducati project. They gave me their trust and the opportunity to decide whatever I decided. Champions often speak of talent. Márquez highlights trust and human support as equally decisive. Joining Ducati was not merely a sporting switch but a crucial personal gamble. Márquez described signing for Ducati as the moment he saw the top of the mountain, a decision that opened the route back to contention. He stressed that the move let him enjoy racing again while giving him the tools, bike and team, to win. The title validates that calculated risk and the factory's investment. Emotions ran high at Motegi. Márquez admitted struggling to control his feelings during the anthem and in park firm, human moments that contrasted with the iron nerve he shows on track. He thanked an array of support staff by name and spoke candidly about the difficulty of the journey. I was during the anthem and it just crossed my mind. I'm shitting myself. Those candid asides make the victory feel intimate rather than theatrical. With this title, Márquez equals Valentino Rossi in Premier Class championships, a fact he calls another honor. Yet he was measured about records, saying history remains history and the numbers speak for themselves. He also signaled that while he'll savor the season, his focus will shift toward 2026 with fresh motivation. He will keep the number 93 and aims to continue with the same enthusiasm into the next year. The balance of celebration and forward focus suggests a champion who knows the title is both a destination and a new starting point. Marc Márquez's Motegi triumph reads as both sport and story, a high-stakes decision, Ducati, a grueling comeback, a network of human support, and the quiet satisfaction of joining MotoGP royalty. By equalizing Rossi's Premier Class tally and doing so after near retirement, Márquez has given the season a narrative arc that transcends wins and points. It's a personal comeback that will shape his legacy as much as any stat. Tardozzi called Motegi the best weekend of his professional life, congratulating the team on delivering both the rider's spectacle and the constructor's triumph. He framed the 1-2 combination of joy and adrenaline as the payoff for months of hard work. If an author had come to write a movie, he would have written it like this about this day. For Ducati, Motegi functioned as vindication, technical and human, after a season of dramatic highs and testing lows. Tardozzi positioned Márquez's title as more than a tally of wins. It's a comeback story. He highlighted the rider's resilience after injury and surgery and praised the maturity Márquez has displayed all season. He described the championship as revenge against the adversities Márquez endured and argued that some criticisms are unfair without full knowledge of the man. Tardozzi's defense is both managerial and paternal, protecting a rider whose transformation has been central to Ducati's season. The Motegi sprint was also notable for Bagnaia's victory, which Tardozzi celebrated as a much-needed morale boost. He stressed how important Pecco's win was after months of struggle. It was great to see Pecco again and celebrate Marc with 5 races left. The result signals progress on the technical front and restores confidence within Bagnaia's camp, even if further work remains. Tardozzi admitted there was a tense moment when smoke appeared on Bagnaia's bike, but reassured that checks showed nothing serious. He used the episode to underline how high-stakes and finely balanced MotoGP operations are on race day. He described the scare as the final adrenaline, but confirmed it was ultimately harmless. Small incidents like that highlight the razor-edge nature of contemporary Grand Prix racing, and the engineering teams that must react instantly. On the question of Márquez's place in history, Tardozzi urged patience. Commentary and verdicts should come at career's end, not mid-season. He argued Márquez is still adding to his record and that comparisons across eras are premature. Whatever needs to be said about Márquez will be said at the end of his career, because it's not over yet. That stance reframes debate as retrospective analysis rather than present-day verdict, a manager protecting his rider and the team narrative. Davide Tardozzi's Motegi reflections were equal parts celebration and counsel. He cheered Ducati's double success and renewed belief in Bagnaia, while defending Márquez's season as extraordinary and still unfolding. By asking critics to wait until the end of a career that is clearly still writing new chapters, Tardozzi shifts the conversation from snap judgments to a longer view, one that privileges context, recovery, and the slow accumulation of legacy over instant headlines. Dalligna praised Márquez's season-long authority, race wins, sprint success, and the heavyweight role he played in Ducati's constructor's crown. He framed the title as the product of a rider who not only goes fast but communicates with rare precision. When I signed Marc, I'm pretty sure this was the best thing for Ducati. He dominated the season and he did an unbelievable job. Ducati's GP25 may be excellent on paper, but Dalligna credits Márquez's unique combination of speed and diagnostic clarity for turning potential into trophies. Dalligna singled out Márquez's temperament, calm in adversity, focused on solutions. That professional, problem-solving mindset shortened development cycles and made setup decisions less fraught. He said Márquez is calm in difficulties, knows how to explain problems, and makes the engineer's job straightforward. The managers take stresses how elite riders who are also excellent communicators amplify a factory's technical ROI. Once a fierce rival who inflicted Ducati pain, Márquez's switch to the red team has reshaped the narrative. A former antagonist is now the cornerstone of Ducati's success. Dalligna admitted the scale of the payoff was beyond initial expectations. After this year, I understand very well why we took such a long time to win the first championship, because Marc is unbelievable when he's on the track with the bike. The admission reads like a managerial epiphany. Recruiting the right rider can change a factory's fortunes overnight. Dalligna paid tribute to Márquez's comeback from a serious arm injury and the tough choices he made to rebuild his career. For the Ducati boss, the title validates an extraordinary personal and professional recovery. He highlighted Márquez's difficult decisions and the uncommon nature of his return to the top. That human element, overcoming injury, adapting to a new team and refinding peak form, adds emotional weight to a technical triumph. With Márquez aboard and the constructor's crown secured, Lignus sees a clearer path for development, fewer unknowns, sharper feedback loops and a rider who can push the team intelligently. The challenge now is to keep momentum and ensure both factory riders contribute to future gains. He reiterated that Márquez's hunger and clarity make him hard to beat and invaluable to Ducati's project. The factory's next priority is turning this season's success into sustained advantage while lifting squad mates into closer contention. Gigi Dall'Igna's post-Motegi verdict is simple. Marc Márquez changed the equation. By combining speed, communication and resilience, Márquez didn't just win races. He made Ducati easier to develop and harder to challenge. For Ducati, the lesson is clear. The right rider can be the single biggest lever in converting technical potential into championships. Bagnaia led from the start and controlled the race, yet admitted a mid-race scare when he saw smoke and feared a mechanical issue or even a disqualification. Still, he stayed composed and managed the remainder to the flag. He said that in the final laps he thought he was slower exiting corners and later saw images of smoke. He didn't know what it was, and joked he almost expected a DQ. Even dominant weekends can be nerve-wracking. Coping with that uncertainty and still delivering a win underlines the scale of the turnaround. The victory tasted especially sweet because of a season of problems. Bagnaia called the weekend a true moment of enjoyment after months of frustration and credited the team's work for turning things around. "It's a great shame I couldn't take advantage earlier, but today I really enjoyed it." When a result restores enjoyment, it often marks a deeper, more durable recovery than a one-off strong finish. Bagnaia singled out the Misano test as the decisive moment. The changes made there, and validated in warm-up and FP1, gave him the confidence to push and control the GP25 instead of reacting to it. He said Misano showed the light, and that the setup changes began to work straight away at Motegi. Tests don't always translate to race pace. When they do, the effect can be immediate and dramatic, as it was here. Bagnaia paid tribute to Marc Márquez's season, calling it near perfect and admitting he wished he could have contested the title but that Márquez has been perfect from start to finish. He also apologized for earlier comments and congratulated his teammate on the championship. He recognized Márquez's mental strength after surgeries and tough years and praised his consistency. Rivalry and respect can coexist. Bagnaia's tone mixed humility with renewed hunger. Bagnaia believes the Misano to Motegi sequence gives him momentum for the remaining rounds and even hopes to push for second in the championship. He stressed the need for calm and consistency, and that Barcelona and Phillip Island should suit the new baseline. "I may be stubborn, but I'm the last person to stop believing in myself." Confidence regained is only valuable if it travels. The coming races will show whether Motegi was a reset or a sustained renaissance. Bagnaia thanked Casey Stoner and Manuel Poggiali for their input at Misano and for helping diagnose why one bike was moving and the other wasn't. He said their work, and the team's willingness to make bold changes, was decisive. He called their help huge, and said it clarified the path forward. External insight plus decisive engineering action is a classic recipe for turning a crisis into a comeback.